messages that it's received. And then we've got various templates in between that generally modify what's sort of happening. So if you want to, you can click a system that works like injecting a message into a button actuator, if you like, that says, okay, start this template hello world off, and then whatever the hello world generates, send it to the debug, and in this case it's just a hello message with, I think that was the time actually, the system time in, not formatted, it's just a number of milliseconds as a given base date. But there's a range of other nodes. You can have HTTP nodes. So if you know remember all that thing perhaps in your assignment where you have to contact Apache, you have to contact Tomcat, and we had that method, HTTP request or something like that, and you had about sort of 15 lines of code, and it was just to create a URL, to open up that URL, pass the data across, and the response coming back. There's about a little sort of 12 or 15 lines of code. That can be done just in one of these. The code that you're talking about, I'll just sort of put it open. I've got one of these here, saying the widget demos. In your sensor to server. In your sensor to server, you've got this method, send to server. You've all been playing about with this one, and I've debunked this method with about half of you as well, where it connects to the server with a particular value, opens up that URL using all these HTTP URLs and things like that. There's quite a bit of understanding needed to figure out what's going on there. And most people didn't even bother figuring out what's going in there. They just said, okay, I'll accept that this is a method that will send to, the only thing you need to change was that line 63. You had to change the parameters that you're passing and set up what the center server URL is. The rest of it stays the same. So you're effectively saying, well, you've given me the code, but I'm just only going to change one line of it. You didn't really need to understand the rest of it. And what we're doing is just wrapping this up and saying, okay, well, why don't we just make that into an object that you can use that will make that sort of connection, and we'll make it a nice little visual object for you to sort of use for it. And so that came out then with these things like an HTTP either start point or end point, depending on whether or not you were sending a message or receiving an HTTP one. So this is quite good for building up either RESTful services or even straightforward HTTP services to sort of put it together. You can go lower level and make WebSockets. There's MQTT add-ons to it as well. Right down to other things like TCP and lighter versions of it. Other nodes, SMS messaging. There's this Twilio package. Some people might have come across for sending SMSs. For it. Quite a few IBM-based ones to work with, because they sort of put it out in the first place. A lot of function nodes for changing things around, things like switches, repetition to do stuff over and over again, generating CSV files, generating bits of HTML. There's a nice little GUI front end you can do, so that rather than just appearing in that debug screen, it generates a nice HTML front end for it. Huge range of these, and there's a big community of people working on it. But as ever, because we are all keen geek programmers in here, we all love doing our coding, we don't like using other people's sort of stuff, we want to write something that other people use. It's possible to write your own node to it. So if there isn't a node out there, write your own and supply the community with it. So let them use. That's exactly what we did with the fidget node. There wasn't really a fidget node out there to use, so we supplied one to it. And yes, all you do is create, I say all you do, you create the behavior in terms of JavaScript, what that node does. So you actually have to write all that sort of code. And then you write a nice little front end to see what it looks like, the appearance that you do in HTML to it. And you then share them out So you can give somebody this node, and they can just install it in their own NodeRed system with this npm, this node package manager that can install new nodes for it. Some of you might be doing Node.js in the programming class. There's a third-year programming class. It used to be Darren Dancy around there. I can't remember who does it this year. Is anybody in that sort of programming class that compares different programming languages? What's it called, that one? Programming languages, that's what it is. Are they doing Node in that one as well? Or? I don't know. I think he's moving through different languages as he goes through. It crops up, I know, in some sort of one. So for some people it might be easier than others for it. Now, yeah, there's a pretty big Node library that flows NodeRed.org. So if the default one doesn't have what you want, you can just go to the flows NodeRed.org. And there's a lot of these sort of add-ons that are out there. So for example, if you wanted the fidget one, we have published ours up there, just to see what's currently out there for fidgets. There's one node dealing with fidgets, and as I say, only deals really with the accelerometer. So it's right for sort of development as well, to sort of get into. Great work if you're doing a sort of project as well. Nice idea, perhaps if you're moving on to thinking of doing a PhD or a master's sort of course in it, some sort of nice project work for it there. But lots of other nodes like we sort of look up. Well, it's only to do with email. Lots of things to do with sort of email nodes to sort of add on and sort of work with. Worthwhile just having a look at what's available to it. Now we're going to have a look at in the lab, really setting some of this thing up, because we're approaching the end of the time that we've got for today. Now in terms of running it on your own machine to try it out, as I say, you can either work through a browser-based version. You just go to this Sense Technic one, and they've written a web service to actually do NodeRed for them. Free up to a point, free up to doing 50 nodes, so if you're just trying stuff out, if you're investigating it, it's great for that, certainly good enough for the lab sessions. Anything on top of that, you'll have to go to NodeRed, make sure you've got Node.js installed, and then install the NodeRed addition to that. But you'll see some of that in the lab session this afternoon, or later in the week if we try it. I'm going to have a look at other aspects of it next week. A bit more on this, a bit on the MQTT and other sort of new developments. We'll leave it there for today, though we're on about 1 o'clock. There's a register on the front if you missed it.
How many words have you done?
How much you wrote? 4,200 words.
It's only that I've just got another meeting now.
That's it. Oh, for the histogram. Yeah. Do you know who it is? Do you know who it is?
Definitely put in for that. Well, I can talk with you in the lab session. Yeah, okay.